Back on the lead is Chelsea, who are goalless at Portsmouth at half-time. Updates in a moment or so. Along the way today, 6 of the best goals from this calendar year, and they're very good goals as well. And we'll also be hearing from Michael Owen, who's at Anfield today to watch Liverpool play Southampton. So Jose Mourinho says, too much football in this country at this time of the year. What do we say?
It's probably the first time that he said anything that I haven't agreed with. I think he's been a breath of fresh air from the day one that he arrived in this league. And I think it's the first thing he said that I thought, no. I mean, we've grown up in concentrated football around the festive season. It's part and parcel of winning this league. You have to cope with 4 games around about this time of the year. And if you do, and if you can, then you might just go on and win the title. So there's no use moaning about it. It happens. The supporters love it. It's one of the busiest times of the year for football supporters who are off work, who want to spend some time going and watching football, Richard. And it's important we give them football to go and watch. So I think it's a case that it's his first year in. We'll allow him a little slip, but he'll be used to it by this time next year.
Are we supporters? Because we love it as well.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, of course we're supporters. We're all football supporters.
As long as we qualify.
Yeah, absolutely, son.
The Liverpool team news today. 4 changes from the side that we saw win at West Brom so comprehensively. Out go Traore, Haman, who's amongst the substitutes, as you can see, Nunes, and Barros, who's got that hamstring injury. In come Luis Garcia, Alonso, Warnock, and also Neil Mellor, who's recalled up top to play alongside Cinema Pongal. As for Southampton, well, James Beattie, as we've seen, has travelled, but he's not involved at all. We'll hear from Harry Redknapp why in a moment or so. So no Beattie, no Phillips either, who takes a place amongst the substitutes. Dexter Blackstock starts up front alongside Ormerod. Half-time in most of today's Premiership football matches. Blackburn lead at Bolton, who have lost 5 on the bounce, remember. A goal from Paul Dickoff there. It's 1 defeat in 9 for Blackburn Rovers going into that match. No goals at the Valley. Charlton 0, Everton 0. Birmingham lead 2-1 at Craven Cottage. Heskey scored again, that's 4 in 3 for him. Carter put Birmingham in front just before half-time. Legwinski scored for Fulham. Nicholas Anelka has scored for Manchester City. Against West Brom, it's 7 games without a win for Brian Robb. Well, 6.5 so far, and they're down to 10 men again, would you believe? Gardso sent off in the opening 45 minutes, and there isn't a goal anywhere else. Middlesbrough 0, Norwich 0, Portsmouth 0, Chelsea 0, and it's Spurs 0, Crystal Palace 0. And don't forget, there is a first opportunity to see tonight's football, 10:30, Sky Sports 1, Football First. Claire Tomlinson is your hostess. Host person. Thanks, Andy. There'll be one major game of the day, and then after that you can choose a supercut of the rest. And don't forget, we have 2 live matches ahead of that. Our second comes from Villa Park, which is where Andy and myself are this afternoon. It's Aston Villa against Manchester United later. It's also the time of the year when we're enjoying plenty of Christmas soaps, isn't it? And Harry Redknapp has been the star of his own these past few weeks.
Under the cap, Milan Mandaric, Harry Redknapp. Whether it's a holy trinity remains to be seen.
In my own position, I would think I've probably been one of the most successful managers in the Premier in Portsmouth's history, and no position really. I'm just getting on with the job at the moment.
All right, Phillips wriggling free, it runs his way, and Ashdown's made a great save, but Bosvelt knocks in the rebound, and Manchester City, with 3 goals, are surely heading for 3 points.
The crowd backs you all the way. They're obviously concerned about you, Harry. Well, how long is everything okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, fine.
Harry Redknapp has resigned as manager of Portsmouth, issued a statement at lunchtime saying he made the decision without any pressure from his chairman, Milan Mandaric.
I know what the fans think of me. And it's nice to be in a position where you can say, look, I've done a great job here. I'm going to leave you in a good position in the Premier League where you've never been, and let the club push on from there. Innuendos and all that, it's no good. I don't deserve that. I don't deserve that, and I need it to clear the air, and that's what Milan's done here. He's come out and said what he's got to say, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the end of the matter, and I just want to move on in my life.
Harry, whether you like it or not, there's been connections made between you and Southampton. Have you had any talks with the club?
No, none at all. Not a thing. I've not spoke to any I haven't spoke to any other football clubs, really.
Yep, Harry Redknapp is the new manager of Southampton 2 weeks after leaving their bitter South Coast rivals Portsmouth.
Whoever I've been, I've always, tried my best, and I'll do the same here. It's I've left a you know, no, I've left a good club and I've come to another great club, so hopefully I can be as successful here as I was at Portsmouth.
And now the task of picking up at least 28 points from the remaining 22 games of the season starts for the new Southampton manager. Downing. Oh, what a comeback by Middlesbrough.
Didn't see it coming. 3 points were in the bag and 2 were thrown away.
Big man again. Jermaine Defoe was an audacious flick over the top for Keane. Southampton booed off after 90 minutes of stalemate at St Mary's against Charlton.
It's been a riveting watch, but will there be a happy ending?
For Southampton? It'll be tough. I think a lot depends on January, and I mean, I'm not necessarily mean what happens on the pitch, Richard, I mean what happens off it. If we know anything about Harry Redknapp, Harry likes a deal. He likes to wheel and deal and get his players in, the players he wants in quickly to whatever club he's been at. He gets the opportunity in January to do some of that wheeling and dealing. It smacks as if James Beattie's on his way. I don't think you leave somebody like Beattie out of a game that you need to get points in when you're really struggling if a decision's not already been made and he's not moving. I would be amazed now if James Beattie's not out of there in January and Harry is allowed in to wheel and deal and get a few of his own type of players in and go from there. But it's a tough ask for them. The important thing for them is they've not detached themselves from the teams around them, and that's what they've got to make sure in the next 3 or 4 games that they don't get detached like West Brom.
Let's find out more about the speculation surrounding the centre forward then. Harry Redknapp is with Jeff Shreves.
No James Beattie, what can you tell us?
Look, to be honest, there's a couple of clubs. I've had a couple of offers from a couple of clubs for him, and you know, I spoke to James this morning, and I think that, you know, the only way we're going to strengthen this squad is by maybe having to do some business and get some money in and maybe do something like that. So, but I mean, you know, that's at the moment. I've just decided to change it today. Really, I've just bought a couple of fresh lags in. I bought Brett Ormeroyd in, who, you know, is full of energy. And you know, he'll give me plenty of effort and plenty of work rate, and that's really where we're looking to go today. And young Dexter Blackstock up front again, full of energy. So I've gone with him too.
What would it mean to get something here today?
Oh, it'd be massive for us. It's important for us that we've got to pick up results. Obviously, you know, games are running out, and you know, we need to start putting a few results together. But it was encouraging enough on Sunday without being a good performance against Charlton. It was a clean sheet, so it was something to build on. So we've got to keep going, keep on, you know, plugging away and see what we can do.
Good luck to you today.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
So offers from 2 clubs for James Beattie. Villa we know we're in the summer. Newcastle we've read recently are in. It seems fairly obvious now that he's on the way then. So what do they get, whoever lands him?
It depends what you're asking. What do they get from this year? I'm not so sure, but certainly at his best and in his pomp and when he's playing well, they get a pretty good all-round goal scorer, Richard. I mean, a bit Alan Shearer like in the fact he's a centre forward who comes out and is able to take free kicks. He's a pretty good finisher, predominantly on his right side. He's far stronger on that. It goes without saying at 6 foot plus, he should be able to hit the ball, and he can. But I just think at this moment in time, James's confidence is a bit on a low ebb. He's probably a bit unsure of where he's going to be playing. As it seems Harry Redknapp's a bit unsure, but even listening to Harry there, it seems definite that James is going. But whoever buys him, if they get the confident and determined James Beattie of maybe 18 months ago, then they're going to get a pretty good goal scorer.
If you've just joined us, it looks a little dark outside. That's because we're waiting for the lights to come on at Aston Villa, where Manchester United
we do
play
get
later.
here, no chance getting those lights on. Sorry,
where Manchester United play later. Our first game this afternoon features Liverpool and Southampton. Liverpool terrific at home. On the road, well, there's work to be done there, but Rafael Benitez said that ahead of the game at West Brom, and they turned up with 5 goals there in a fairly comfortable outcome. But that's how it looks so far for Rafael Benitez, who's with Jeff Shreves.
5-0 last time out. How do you improve on that?
We know it was a good game, and we tried to do the same in all the games, but in this case we play against 10. We play with a high tempo second part of the game. Then we try to do the same at home if it's possible.
Just because Southampton are also down towards the bottom of the Premiership, have you warned your players and supporters not to expect the same?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult when you play 2 games in 2 days, 3 days. It's necessary to be concentrated, and if you play against a team in the bottom of the table, perhaps some people think that it's easy, but we know it's a tough game. Always in the Premier League, I say always the same. Then we try to score goals, but the first idea is to win.
What would 3 games in a row victories mean to you?
We will see. We will see. I don't want to talk about a victory before. No, it's important. Always important to win, and if you play well, better. Then we know that we need to play as well as possible for winning.
No, Milan Baros, was he close?
He has a slow. No, it's not. I was thinking about hamstring problem, but no serious.
Okay. Good luck today.
Thank you.
A little hamstring problem. We saw him go off at the Hawthorns, didn't we? Now, Cinema Pongolle, if everybody's fit at Anfield, you suspect he's not going to get a starting place. But is he giving the manager a problem?
Well, he'll be delighting his managers, is what he will be doing, Richard. If you lose Cisse and you lose Baros, and that's your 2 main strikers, make no mistake about it, he knows that. But what I like about this young lad, he's only 20, but he's already been upset about not getting a real chance in this side. He's got a huge belief in his own ability, and he has got talent. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And a couple of goals in the last few games will undoubtedly have helped him. I mean, that was the game against Tottenham where you saw him score that penalty. He was probably one of the senior players playing, and he stood up and was counted, and he was
twice,
great.
Didn't he, to be fair?
Yeah, twice. Well. Big goals. But this one, particularly at the week 2 days ago when I watched him play against West Brom, okay, West Brom did not defend particularly well. But what he has got is fantastic movement. He's not going to stand up there and get marked. He'll drop off the play. He'll happily take people on, run with the ball. And what I liked about it, that goal he scored at West Brom, he played a ball out wide. And often in young players these days, they'll play the ball and look at it and think, well, that was nice, wasn't that lovely? But he got himself up off the ground and immediately got himself in the penalty area. And I always like to see that in young goal scorers, that they've got a desire to get themselves back in there. He did that and got his goal. So he's important, very, very important, in the absence of Baros and Cisse.
And a quick word on John Arnorisa. Different position for him today. He's playing left full back rather than left side. But have we seen a better shooting performance since Bobby Charlton hung his boots up than the one we saw at the Hawthorns?
Well, I think he had 7 attempts himself at the Hawthorns. And I have to say, the quality of his striking was admirable. Absolutely admirable. And there were all kinds of them. I mean, this is just a montage of some of his strikes as a Liverpool player in general. And just looking at this, you just know that if he gets in there, if he doesn't score, Richard, it'll come across goal.
Look at this.
I mean, that's a venomous strike. You know, and he hit 2 or 3 like that against West Brom. But what he does is, if he gets himself in there, you know he is a genuine threat. Maybe not as much today, but just because he's playing behind Warnock as a left back instead of a left sider, don't think that he won't get ahead of Warnock, and don't think that he won't put himself into those same positions. He will. Maybe not as often. Remember, they were playing against 10 men against West Brom, so it was easy for him to do that. But he will still, let's say he'll get, I expect him, if he's not got 3 strikes at goal today, I'd be surprised.
And watching at Anfield today, a little fella who will always have a special place in the hearts of Liverpool fans.
You're unbelievable.
And here he is with Jeff Shreves.
Michael, first time back at Anfield, how does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. I've just popped into the players' lounge and seen a few familiar faces. I've not seen any of the players yet, but I'll meet up with them after the game, and I see a few of them at England, obviously, and good mates with Didier Man, so whenever I come back I play a game of golf with them, but a few of them I haven't seen yet, so I look forward to seeing them.
Is it emotional, and how have the fans treated you on the way in?
Yeah, you know, coming back is always going to be emotional. I mean, till the day I die, I'll always have great memories of here. And yeah, the fans were great. There was one young kid said, "Why did you go? And when are you coming back?" That was the only tough questions I had. Everyone else was really nice, and yeah, I signed a few autographs, and it was good to see everyone again.
So why did you go, and when are you coming back?
Yeah. Well, I think that's already been said before, but I couldn't answer the little kid either.
What's it going to be like this afternoon? Because you are a Liverpool fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, Obviously, Southampton have got a new manager in Harry Redknapp, and I think all his sides are tough to beat. So, it's been an interesting game. I mean, I've only been watching on television so far this year, but Liverpool seem to be doing really well at home and winning games quite well. So, obviously, everyone expects Liverpool to win, but I think Southampton will be quite a tough team to beat today.
Something else that's new for you is the Christmas break. What do you make of it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. The only problem is I come home back to England, I get a cold as soon as I land, so my own household are quite ill at the moment, but thankfully not ill enough to stop me or to keep me, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, either he's been back for a while, or that the sun's not been out in Madrid recently, because he's not sporting a tan, is he? And he grew up, of course, watching Everton. His dad played for Everton. So many of Liverpool's top-class, homegrown supporters. Yeah, they're all Evertonians.
Evertonians, they missed out on them.
So why, and when are you coming back, said Jeff Shreves? We know the answer to those two questions, really, don't we? Why? Because he had a year of his contract left and negotiations were ongoing. When he comes back, I suppose, he's open to debate.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I don't think it'll be like Ian Rush when Ian went to Juventus for, what, a year and was quickly back, didn't settle. I think Michael is the type of guy who, I'm sure as we speak now, has got pretty much pidgin Spanish, but will be learning it very, very quickly. He'll try to integrate, but I feel sure he's that kind of guy. He's a fantastic footballer. He's a brilliant professional. A real credit to his profession he is, whether he's playing here or whether he's playing in Spain. And, you know, I think he'll try and integrate himself. He'll want to be a success here, Michael Owen. But if he isn't, let's just say there'll be a queue of English Premiership clubs at his door.
Almost certainly Liverpool amongst them. And we have heard today that James Beattie will be made available by Southampton in the coming transfer window. Might Liverpool? Who knows? Goals they have not been in short supply of recently. 5, of course, at West Brom on Boxing Day. They now have 4th place in their sights, but can they make it?
Well, we can do our best in the transfer market, really. So just do our best and carry on scoring.
Everton are going to drop the 5th or 6th. We're going to beat Southampton today 4-1.
Cream always rises to the top, as they say. 3 points today. Watch the other teams around us fall down over the next 2 or 3 months. Everton plummet, undoubtedly. And away we go.
Get 3 points today, and I think we'll give Chelsea a good game. Yeah, I think we're aiming for a top 4 position.
Welcome. A drink?
Carlsberg don't do takeaways, but if they did, they would probably be the best takeaways in the world.
It's the most spectacular treasure in history.
It traveled across continents, never to be seen again.
You're treasure hunters, aren't you?
The clues they left are leading Benjamin Gates into an adventure.
Get down!
2,000 years in the making. Nicolas Cage, Diane Kruger.
You trust me?
National Treasure.
The official prisoner fact file.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
Collect every classic episode on digitally remastered DVD.
Has anyone ever escaped?
Along with an exclusive collector's edition magazine.
You are number 6.
Which uncovers the groundbreaking themes, characters, and technology behind this unique series.
See you seeing you.
Start your official prisoner fact file collection at newsagents now for just $2.99.
Now out of Southside, the wife becomes a country boy. A truck shining like a pin. Here's a big bright boy named Willie McCoy. But back home they call him Jim. Now he's the toughest cheek with a honoring streak. He's got a turbo diesel brute. He works hard for his money and it may sound funny, but he needs a youth he can root. And everybody says, Jack, don't you know? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the whole Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with him. You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind.
2005 on Sky Sports. Sport for all.
Two live games this afternoon from the Barclays Premiership. It's Villa and United later. First up, Liverpool play Southampton at Anfield. If you're a new Sky Digital viewer, you've joined us over the Christmas holiday period and I'm sure what to do to go interactive, push the red button on the remote control, follow the instructions. You will eventually come to that menu page and that's where you can enjoy the facilities. There's been more goals in the Premiership since we last checked. Blackburn we knew were a goal up at Bolton, that's how it stays. Charlton and Everton, nothing there yet. Robbie Savage has put Birmingham 3-1 up now at Craven Cottage. Nicholas Anelka's goal separates Manchester City and West Brom. 2 from Job, meaning it's now Middlesbrough 2, Norwich 0. Nothing yet at Fratton Park, and Jermaine Defoe has scored again as Spurs close in on their 6th successive win. No other team has done that in the Premiership this season. Football first tonight, 10:30. A first opportunity to see all of today's football with Claire Tomlinson. Liverpool, of course, recorded their best Premiership win ever against Southampton, 7-1, January 99. But to be fair, the Saints did do the double last season. 2-0 at St Mary's in Paul Sturrock's first game in charge, and they had won 2-1 at Anfield earlier in the year. If they're going to do anything today, they're going to have to find some form from somewhere to upset a rampant Liverpool.
Gerrard, 3-0. It's Rita again. Liverpool now have 5. Blackstone gets this shot away, they're level. Phillips! Would you believe it? Southampton lead at Arsenal. The first goal of Harry's era as a Saint.
My biggest job yet, says Harry Redknapp. Short on confidence, short on points, short on wins, obviously. So why should Southampton fans have any faith at all that they might get something from Anfield, Andy?
Because they're Southampton fans is the only answer I can give you, Richard. I don't fancy them at all today. I think unless Liverpool play poorly and Southampton shows something we haven't seen in recent weeks, Liverpool will get their 3rd consecutive victory for the first time this season. And I think they'll be very, very determined to do so. I think they'll be too powerful in midfield. If you look at that quartet of Liverpool players, and we've got Warnock in there, but don't forget Warnock came on against West Brom and actually played left back, which allowed Risa to play in front of him. So, depending how confident Rafael Benitez is, if he wants Risa higher up the pitch, he can easily play Warnock at left back if he fancies it. But I just think Liverpool's midfield, that quartet of players, will be too powerful and will control the game.
No mercy for the Saints, said Steven Gerrard this morning. Let's find out as we go to Anfield to join our match commentators Alan Smith and Rob Hawthorne.
Just what Southampton needed, isn't it? They've conceded 5 goals in their last away match. They're coming to a venue where they've let in 7 in one Premiership visit. And now they're playing a Liverpool side rampant after their 5-goal mauling of West Bromwich Albion. They were merciless in exposing the inadequacies of the Premiership's bottom club. And Steven Gerrard has emphasised that they'll be showing no mercy either to the team one place above Albion in the table at the start of the day. And Gerrard now leads out a Liverpool team who, after a series of false storms, are hoping that they're now showing the most promising signs that they really are on their way back. But is there any way back from Southampton? Their predicament is a serious one. Well, Liverpool make 4 changes to the side that won so emphatically at the Hawthorns. Milan Baros aggravated a hamstring problem, so misses out. Jimmy Traore, Antonio Nunes and Dietmar Hamann all take places on the bench. Stephen Warner gets his first Premiership start since September, and also returning are Xabi Alonso, Neil Mellor, who's recovered from a bout of tonsillitis, and Luis Garcia.
Well, Liverpool have been very successful at home, and that's been down to a positive approach. They've tried to get at teams early, and it's worked. They're aiming to do exactly the same today. When you look at that midfield 4, and 3 of them will be eager to push on. Xabi Alonso anchors that unit, and he lets Steven Gerrard do his stuff alongside, and we all know what that can lead to. Luis Garcia on the right, he won't always stay there. He loves to get involved with the 2 strikers. Stephen Warnock on the other side, a bit more direct, probably keep his width a little bit more, but up front, Neil Mellor, Florence Cinema Pongo, played together twice already, once against Arsenal, and did pretty well that day. Let's see if they can do it again.
James Beattie, who remains the key to Southampton's vital January transfer activity, may already have played his last game for the club. With Villa and Everton leading the chase for his signature, he's not even in the 16 today, nor is Peter Crouch, who also started the draw with Charlton, and Kevin Phillips of that 3-pronged attack is only on the bench. Today, Harry Redknapp assesses the merits of Brett Ormerod and Dexter Blackstock. A knee injury to Klaus Lundekvam means a reshuffle at the back, which frees midfield berths for the returning David Prutton and Neil McCann.
Well, what a task for these 11 players out here today for Southampton. The back 4, you would imagine, will have to be on top form to keep a clean sheet here. And a lot will depend on how effective that midfield 4 in front of them is in protecting it, in not allowing the ball to come directly at them. But at the same time, the likes of Neil McCann, David Prutton have got to be brave when they are in possession, push on and try and give support to those 2 strikers. No James Beattie, of course, no Kevin Phillips. But Dexter Blackstock and Brett Ormerod will put themselves about. They will work hard. The question is, will they see enough of the ball to make it count?
Well, it may be the pantomime season, but Southampton fans must feel they've been watching one for the whole year. 2004 dawned with a place in the top half of the table and Strachan in charge. 9 days later it emerged he was leaving at the end of the season, and the whole thing started to unravel. Paul Sturrock came and went, leaving after his only win of the season. Steve Wigley came and went, replaced by the only opposing manager he beat in the Premiership. And now, under that man, Harry Redknapp, who was of course in charge of their nearest and fiercest rivals, there may be more storms ahead before the brighter outlook that they hope will follow. Well, over the last few days, we've all been horrified by the dreadful scenes in Southeast Asia, the tragedy there that's claimed so many lives, and now football will pay its respects to the victims of that tragedy with a silence here at Anfield.
The death toll is steadily rising, with latest reports of more deaths than are here at this match today, over 45,000 people. We ask you now to observe a period of silence